The silence of the church is not merely the absence of sound, but a sacred space where you can truly hear God's voice speaking to your heart. It is in these moments of stillness that you begin to understand that your spiritual journey is unique to you, designed by God Himself. The road you are on is not the one most people would choose, for it requires an unwavering courage, deep faith, and a trust in something beyond what can be seen. It is the road less traveled, a path that is unfamiliar, unstructured, and often misunderstood by those who cling to conventional routes. But make no mistake, this is your journey, the one that God has placed before you, rich with spiritual abundance and blessings that can only be uncovered when you walk it with faith and purpose. Those who follow traditional paths may look at you with curiosity, confusion, or even judgment. They may not understand your choices, your direction, or your calling. This path, though often lonely, is not a path of isolation. It is a path of spiritual growth, one where you may feel disconnected from the familiar, but not abandoned. You are never truly alone. God is with you, guiding you, His love becoming your strength and your light, even when the world around you is chaotic or pulling you in a different direction. This is not a journey for the faint of heart, but for the chosen, the ones called to something greater. While the world may seek comfort in the predictable, in structures and routines, you are called to embrace the discomfort of growth. You are invited to step into the unknown, to stretch yourself beyond your limits, and to evolve into the person God has always known you to be. This journey is not about following the crowd. It is about blazing your own trail, reflecting the unique calling God has placed upon your life. And though the road may be uncertain at times, trust that each step you take brings you closer to the fullness of your divine purpose. The rewards of walking this less traveled path are profound, but they require an open heart, a heart willing to trust, to let go of expectations, and to surrender fully to the life that God has designed for you. There is something stirring within you, a sense of awakening, a recognition that you are being called to something far more significant than the life you have known. It is a deep knowing that the spiritual life you have experienced so far is shifting, inviting you to step into a new and deeper relationship with the divine. This awakening is not about rejecting the church or God's word, but rather understanding that God's word is living and active within you. It is waiting to be discovered in your day-to-day life, in the ordinary moments, in your work, your relationships, and the way you encounter the world around you. The truth of who you are and the calling God has placed on your life is something personal, something sacred, and something deeply connected to the divine presence within you. As you awaken spiritually, you may find that the rituals and teachings you once followed no longer align with the path God is calling you to walk. This can feel disorienting, but it is not a rejection of God's love or wisdom. Rather, it is a recognition that His presence is not confined to buildings or rituals. It is living and active within you, waiting to be explored and lived out in every moment. This awakening is not a destination to be reached, but a journey that will unfold throughout your life. It will challenge you, stretch you, and guide you into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. When you embrace this path of spiritual awakening, you will learn to live your faith in ways that are uniquely personal and in perfect alignment with your calling. No longer bound by the structures of tradition or the expectations of others, you will experience true freedom. This freedom is not about doing whatever you want or rebelling against established norms. It is about living in alignment with your highest purpose. It is about listening to the still, small voice of God guiding you through every step of your journey. As you walk this path, you will discover that there are no limits to your spiritual journey, no walls to keep you confined, no boundaries that separate you from the divine. Everything you need is already within you, waiting to be discovered. True freedom comes when you step away from the confines of tradition and external expectations, and instead, embrace the divine presence within you, letting it guide every aspect of your life. You no longer need to seek validation from others because you will find your worth in the unshakable love that God has already poured into your heart. This connection, this relationship with God, is not a distant concept to be experienced only at certain times or in certain places. It is a living reality that you carry with you everywhere you go. For so long, Church walls may have felt like the boundaries of your spiritual world. But now, God is calling you to live outside those walls, to experience Him not in a building or a ritual, but in the very world around you. Your faith is not meant to be contained. It is meant to be lived out in every moment, in every place, and with every person you encounter. This calling to live outside the walls is not just a physical one. It is a spiritual invitation to embrace the world as your sanctuary. God is with you in the streets, in your home, in the mountains, and in the hearts of those you love. Every experience you have is an opportunity to encounter Him more deeply. Living outside the walls means letting go of the need to conform to a set structure, to measure up to someone else's standards of faith. It means stepping into a life of spiritual freedom, where God is your guide, and His love is your constant companion. You are invited to break free from the chains of religious expectations and embrace a more authentic relationship with the divine. This is not about rejecting God's word. It is about embracing a more genuine expression of faith, one that is unshackled by tradition and fully aligned with the truth of who you are. When you live from this place of divine connection, everything changes. You are no longer living as a follower of external rituals or rules. You are living as a reflection of God's love, wisdom, and power. You are becoming the person He created you to be, walking in the fullness of His purpose for your life. True spiritual awakening requires courage. It requires you to trust that God's plan for your life is unfolding perfectly, even when you can't see the next step. It means letting go of the need for external approval and stepping fully into the truth of your divine identity. As you continue on this journey, trust that God is leading you every step of the way. You are walking a path that is uniquely yours, a path of true spiritual liberation. There are no walls, no barriers, only the open road to the fullness of God's love and purpose for your life. You are not separate from the divine. You are one with it. This truth, hidden beneath the noise and confusion of the world, is now becoming clear to you. As you awaken to the presence of God within you, you will begin to understand that His love and guidance are always available to you. You are not merely a follower of God's teachings. You are the embodiment of His divine nature. Your life is meant to reflect His love and wisdom, and as you embrace this truth, your spiritual journey will unfold in ways you could never have imagined. Trust that you are on the right path, and that God is leading you into a deeper, more authentic connection with Him. This is your divine calling. This is your spiritual awakening. Live it with courage, live it with faith, and live it with love.